Hi everybody, my name is Amy Lane. I'm with Lafayette House here in Joplin. Have you guys heard of Lafayette House? Yeah, everybody okay? We're a domestic violence shelter and we do substance abuse treatment for women and their dependent children. That's our beautiful building. We're located at 1809 Connor here in town. So a little bit about us, our vision, all those who need help will seek it and find a sanctuary that nurtures, empowers, and improves the quality of their lives. Our mission is to break the cycle of domestic violence and addiction, offering a safe sanctuary for women and children. We promote healing and self-sufficiency through affirmation, education, and advocacy. And our values is individuals and their right to make their own choices, equality and accountability in relationships, and integrity and innovation in our staff and services. So what do? We have our domestic violence shelter. We have 26 beds available. Even if all those beds are taken, we won't turn anyone away that's not safe. We'll have to find a place, maybe a couch or a rollaway bed, something, until we can get things rearranged. We offer substance abuse treatment, like I said, for women. And we encourage them, if they have dependent children, to bring their children with them. It's about a 30-day inpatient program. We think it's important to keep mom and kids together during that time. Plus we have a lot of, we have children's licensed therapists, we have mom-child bonding groups, parenting groups, those kind of things. We offer individual counseling by licensed therapists. Usually it's either an LCSW or an LPC. We offer family counseling. That's more used with our substance abuse clients. Children's therapy, like I mentioned, educational groups, community support and referrals, crisis intervention, emergency room advocacy, community trainings and presentations, licensed child care center, and we also have a resale shop called Second Chances. So the services for victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, again, we just kind of talked about those. We do have the 24-hour emergency room bedside advocacy, which I'll talk a little bit more about here in a minute. The immediate scene shelter. So when we usually do presentations, we like to go over pronouns. When I do mine, I usually say she, meaning the victim, he being the perpetrator. Of course, we all know it happens the other direction. However, it's just like 85% of the time, this is the way it goes. So not that I'm discrediting any male victims or anything. So we kind of start out with a history of oppression. We study the past to understand the present. We understand the present to guide the future. English common law of 1600s, women were the property of their husbands. The right to vote didn't come until 1920, and the law is where a man is unable to rape his wife, did not pass until 1991 in the state of Missouri. The violence against women movement started basically in the 1970s. Social change is necessary to eliminate violence against women, and it started out as a grassroots advocacy as women helping women. So what is domestic violence? It's a pattern of verbal, psychological, or physical assaults that one partner uses to control the actions of the other partner. It is a learned behavior, and it's always a choice. So you have young boys who are growing up in a home where dad's violent to mom. That's what they're learning, and this is exactly what they see. Same with young girls who grow up in a house where there's violence and sees that's what mom goes through, that's just normal or typical to them. This is our power and control wheel. Again, domestic violence is all about power and control. So that's in the center, and then all the other pieces around it, using emotional abuse, coercion and threats, isolation, intimidation, using the children is always a big one, minimizing, denying, and blaming, sexual abuse, using male privilege, using economic abuse. That's another big one too. A lot of ladies don't have jobs, or the husband has control of the bank account, trying to get out of a situation and not knowing how you're going to pay for things, how you're going to take care of your children. We have this cycle of violence. Everything's going along great. Then some tension starts happening. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. Then comes the explosion, the violence. After that we have denial, and then the honeymoon phase. The I'm so sorry, I love you, I promise it will never happen again. Okay, she's hopeful, she feels loved. Again, after so long, the tension starts building again. and you're back to the explosion. It just keeps going in a circle. Unfortunately, the honeymoon phase starts getting shorter and shorter and shorter until really there's no honeymoon phase left to it. I've had women say that during the tension building stage that they've actually provoked a fight, tried to make a fight happen because they just wanted it over with. They knew after it was done, things would be better. And just how common is it? About 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have experienced severe physical violence by an intimate partner, either hit with a fist or something hard, beaten, slammed against something at some point in their lifetime. And each day 4 women die as a result of abuse. Talking a little bit about men who batter, they tend to be very insecure. They have an extreme dependence, extreme jealousy, poor impulse control, projects blame, witnessed the cycle of violence as a child. You know, that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, severe mood swings, possessive is usually a big one, poor communication skills, and poor identification of emotions. So domestic violence and its effects on children. 3 to 15 million children are exposed to domestic violence each year in the U.S. Possible effects they can have: behavioral problems, emotional, mental problems, such as PTSD, and social problems. You can see some of the kids in our daycare center, the ones that come from an abusive house, they either are a little more violent, they're the kicking, they're biting, they're doing all that, or they just want to sit on your lap and just want you to hold them. Kind of have a hard time integrating in with the other children. And then again, we just have a continued cycle of violence with the kids. So why doesn't she just leave?
Because she loves him.
Right? She loved him when she met him, and if he just quit hitting her, then things would be all right.
She doesn't feel worthy of anything else.
Her self-esteem is so low. Once you've been told you're fat, you're ugly, you're a bad parent, over and over again, you begin to believe you're fat, ugly, and a bad parent. Anything else? Money. So he said, yeah, the financial part. She's scared. He's threatened to kill her or kill the children if she leaves. One of these days, my hope, my goal is that question will never be asked again. Why doesn't she just leave? Because it's definitely not as simple as what people think. And you hear a lot, well, if it was me, I'd be out of there. Well, if you haven't been in that situation, you have no idea how you're going to react to it. So some of the dilemmas, we've mentioned some of these: low self-esteem, economic dependence, keeping the family together, guilt, promises of change, emotional dependence, fear of insanity, isolation, feels like they have no place to go, again, the learned behavior, societal attitudes, traditional value systems, fear of death, and for some victims, staying may be easier or safer for them. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but she knows exactly how dangerous he can be. So sometimes it's easier and better for her to stay at that moment than to try to get out. They want the violence to stop, but they may not be ready to end the relationship. So a little bit about sexual violence. It's a non-consensual conduct of a sexual nature. It is purposeful and violent behavior. What types of behavior are considered sexually violent, and which behaviors are more or less harmful? What do you think of ones that are considered sexually violent?
Anything without consent.
That's what, like rape, forced oral sex, anything like that. What about behaviors that are more or less harmful? About name calling, calling somebody a slut, sexual harassment in the workforce or anywhere. Those people consider those a little bit less harmful. Really, they're not. So sexual violence includes sexual harassment, unwanted whistles, stares, catcalls, peeping toms, exposure, sexual assault, which is unwanted grabbing, touching of breasts, buttocks, genitals, etc., unwanted fondling, biting, kicking, licking, etc., drug facilitated, forced or coerced oral to genital contact. Rape, stranger, it can be stranger or non-stranger. Which do you think happens more often?
Non-stranger.
Non-stranger? Right. 85% of the time. It's not gonna be the guy with the trench coat on in the alley. Can be, but not least likely to happen. Forcible sodomy, incest, family or relative, and child sexual abuse. Nearly 1 in 5 women and 1 in 71 men in the U.S. have been raped at some time in their lives, including completed forced penetration, attempted forced penetration, or alcohol drug facilitated completed penetration. The majority, 80% of both female and male victims of rape knew their perpetrators. And in Missouri, an estimated 413,000 women have been raped in their lifetime. Sexual assault is unlike any other crime. It's devastating psychologically. It can leave you with a wide range of emotions of fear, loss of control, vulnerability, embarrassment, guilt, anger. Embarrassment is probably one of the biggest ones. Guilt is probably the next one. A woman who feels guilty for being raped. No woman should ever feel guilty for being raped because it was not her fault, or a young man. So what to do if you or someone you know is sexually assaulted? Find a safe place away from the attacker. Know that what happened was not your fault. Report the assault by calling 911 or your local law enforcement. To preserve evidence from the attack, don't change your clothes, bathe, or brush your teeth. One of the best things to do is just go to the emergency room. Both Freeman Hospital and Mercy Hospital have SANE nurses there, sexual assault nurse examiners. The more evidence that you have on you, the better it's going to be. You do not have to file with the police. You do not have to report it. Some people don't want to, again, because of the embarrassment, the shame. But we encourage everyone to do the forensic exam, because if you change your mind a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, a year later, at least you already have the evidence and stuff that you need to be able to prosecute if you do decide that that's what you want to do. Write down any details you can remember about the assault and attacker. Again, seek medical attention. Used to, the rape exams, the victim had to pay for them. Finally, just within the last few years, we've gotten money now to where the exam is taken care of and the medications that you need. If there's any other physical injuries, those are not covered. I would have to go through like your insurance or Medicaid or something like that. But now the exam actually is. And the exam used to be, it was like $800. And so as soon as you got done with the exam and walked out the door, they wanted to know, how are you going to pay for this? Recognize that healing from sexual assault will take time. It's so extremely important to get counseling. And if you don't really want counseling, there are groups out there. We have groups where it's nice, where you can talk to other victims of assault and know that you're not alone out there. Even if the assault happened years ago, it's never too late to call for help or to get counseling. Sociocultural factors that contribute to domestic violence and sexual assaults. Society, violence against women is reinforced a lot through the media and entertainment. Community, a general denial that we have any domestic violence or sexual assaults within our local community. I know there's been times in years past where places like Missouri Southern don't recognize there was no sexual assaults reported that year, or they had no, when I know good and well, working in the hospital where these incidents occurred and stuff. They have great new programs and stuff now here on the campus with the green dot and everything, so they've come a long way. Relationships, just the traditional gender roles. Man of the house, you're the woman, you take care of the kids. Individual sexist attitudes and beliefs. Again, here's just kind of some pictures and stuff that show, again, dressed really nice. They look like they have a lot of money, yet she's battered and bruised. It doesn't matter how much money you make. Domestic violence affects all socioeconomic areas. These are t-shirts that actually people have been producing. Keep calm and hit her. Keep calm and rape a lot. Finally, they were pulled. And again, just, you've got 4 men around 1 woman. Basically looks like he's holding her down. And this is what the Dolce & Gabbana thinks says. Good advertising. So we have a sexual assault response team that gets together once every couple of months. Basically includes our ER advocates, police officers, scene nurse, a prosecutor, the crime lab is there. Basically, we review 1 or 2 past incidents that has happened. We'll review their cases just to see how things went. Did she prosecute? If she did, or did she file, charges? Did they prosecute? Did they drop it? And looking at ways, making sure we did everything we could, or if we didn't, how we can make changes to make it easier and better for the victim. We have the Zero Violence Coalition here in town that anybody's welcome to join. We meet the 3rd Wednesday of every month out at Freeman Hospital. It's basically just concerned people and agencies who are just trying to reduce the violence in our community. April 2017, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We always put on a Take Back the Night program here in front of Billingsley, 3rd Thursday of April. And it is just basically, we have some speakers, we have some vendors here, tables, booths set up. We do a candlelight vigil and a survivor speak out, where anyone who's been a survivor of rape or child molestation can share their story if they wish. Sometimes it's very empowering for someone to do that, and they know they're in a group where all of these people care about victims of sexual assault, feel more comfortable talking. I've had, over the years, 4 or 5 who spoke for the very first time about what happened to them at one of our Take Back the Night events. So, and we do that with the Alpha Sigma Alpha sorority here on campus. So we'd love to have you join us. Next month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. Any questions so far? I'm only going to touch on another couple of things. Anything about Lafayette House?
I want to ask, is this just for Project Stay? Because I know I'm still filling out my application for that.
For
Project Stay.
that, I do not know of.
The workshop's open for everyone.
Okay.
So yeah, anyone can come.
Okay.
So, but I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Because obviously you probably have witnessed a lot, through the years working there. And anyone that's wanting to go into this field, can you kind of tell them, kind of the day in the life of, like a typical Monday? And I don't know if there really is a typical day, honestly.
No, we run 24 hours, 7 days a week. So we are a 24-hour program. We never close our doors because we have people living with us all the time. And if somebody needs shelters, we got to have people there to take care of. I've been with the agency. In June will be 15 years. I started out in more administrative side, and then switched over to development. So I do a lot of the fundraising, all the volunteers, the community presentations, things like that. I graduated from Southern with a bachelor's in sociology and a minor in criminal justice. I really thought I wanted to be a counselor. I changed my mind after I started working there. It does take a lot. You have to be able to handle crisis situations. You have to be able to, when you walk out the door that night, that everything that you heard that day that was so devastating and tragic stays back at the office, and you don't carry it home with you to your families and stuff. We do try to practice a lot of self-care at our agency, of trying to take care of each other and making sure people aren't getting too overwhelmed. When the tornado happened, we had 8 staff members lose their houses completely. They're still working, trying to counsel others on their problems while they have a lot of problems. So we really did, every week we'd take out an hour and we'd serve ice cream, and anybody that wanted to come down and just process and talk, any of our staff, we could do that to make sure that everybody was still doing all right and mentally engaged in what they were doing. Being a counselor for some is exactly what they want to do, and it's a perfect fit for them. We also have community support specialists who are a bachelor level position. They are the client's step to the community. They help the client find all the resources that they need in the community, try to hook them up with all the different agencies that are out there, Career Center, Economic Security, any place that can help them with maybe childcare once they leave, stuff like that. So, and then we have residential advocates. Those are the ones who work our 4 to midnight or midnight to 8 shift, and they're working just directly with the clients, helping them with things that they need. They'll do meditation groups with them, excuse me, be an ear to listen to if they need it, a babysitter if they need it in the evening. And so we have a lot of staff who have that position who are also going to school here because they do want to be counselors or they do want to get their degree and do something either higher up at Lafayette House. That way they can work at night and go to school during the day, and it works out pretty good for them. Didn't really talk too much about it, but we do have our daycare center called the Pumpkin Patch. We save half of our slots for our clients' children so they can go there free of charge while mom's living there. The other half we just sell to the community to help pay for those kids. We're licensed for 64 children, 6 weeks through age 12. We have a summer program, after school program. We're probably the second lowest class daycare in town. We understand the struggles of single moms and everything else and how expensive daycare is, so we try to keep it as cost effective as we can. Mentioned a little bit about our resale shop. It's at 802 East 15th Street in Joplin. Anybody ever seen it? Second Chances. There's the railroad tracks there on 15th and the Dollar General. We're at the other end of the strip mall of that Dollar General. We get lots of donations, which is great, but sometimes we get more than we can handle. So this way the clients can go to the store, they have vouchers, and they can pick up whatever they need for themselves, their children, their new apartment, free of charge, and the rest we just sell to the community, and the money comes back into Lafayette House. So if you have donations, we take all kinds of donations. Women's, men's clothes, small furniture, anything like that. So serve about 1,500 women and children each year here in Southwest Missouri. Barry, Barton, Dade, Lawrence, McDonald, Newton counties are the counties that we focus on. We can take anyone from the state of Missouri, but we really try to focus in this area. If someone calls from Kansas, we'll refer them to Pittsburgh, has a shelter. Miami, Oklahoma has a shelter. There's a shelter in Northwest Arkansas. So we'll refer people to where they need to go. Do a lot of referrals. So if anybody ever has any questions or anything, or doesn't know, has a friend who maybe needs to get an ex parte and they don't know how to do it, you always call Lafayette House and we'll work you through the process and help you out. We offer a class every Wednesday night from 5:30 to 7 called Family Violence Education. That is free, open to the public. You don't have to be a client. You can just come in, learn more information. If you have a friend you think is in that situation, just volunteer to go with her. Say, hey, let's go to this class. Just get a little bit more information. It might help her maybe see a little clearer of what's going on in her relationship. I talked a little bit about the emergency room advocates. These are volunteers. They go through a 48-hour training process. You're on call from 5 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock in the morning, 3 or 4 days out of a month. If someone goes to Freeman or Mercy that's been sexually assaulted, they'll call our advocate on call. The advocate's job is just to go up there and to just be with that person, sit with them, talk to them, hold their hand. They may want you to sit through the exam with them because it's pretty, like I said, traumatic. They may want you to help them, just be there for them when they're giving their statement to the police because they're scared or they're nervous. There may be family members there. You can talk with the family members and try to get them to understand what she's going through right now, what the situation is. So we're really excited. We were doing it only with Freeman. Mercy just got their program started, so we're excited now. We have both hospitals in town. They'll also provide you, our victims, with the HIV cocktail, any kind of birth, the morning after pill, things like that, anything that STDs that may be worried about or anything like that, they'll put our victims on medication. So, and we're getting ready to have a training at the end of this month, so if anybody's interested in becoming an advocate, I have some information after we're done. It's next Friday night from 5 to 8:30. The following Friday night, September 30th, from 5 to 8:30, and Saturday from 11:30 to 4, I think it is. The Saturday part is where we'll actually go tour both emergency rooms. Freeman Hospital has a specific room that's set up for nothing but sexual assaults. I don't think Mercy has that, it's more just based in the emergency room, but we'll take a tour of all that. And if anybody's interested, just let me know. Or if you have any friends who are going to school here for any kind of nursing or social work or anything like that, and let them know about it. And give me a call. So. Any other questions?
I have another question.
Great.
Yes, I know that, well, Christy, for example, she's going into the social work program.
Uh-huh.
And so for any, potential person, that's going into social work, what would you tell them? I mean, you've been there doing it 15 years, so, I mean, what would you, tell them?
You gotta love it, you gotta wanna be able to do it, it has to be a passion. You don't get rich being a social worker, it's not one that you go into thinking you're gonna make a lot of money. As a matter of fact, after almost 15 years, I'm finally making now what I made at my last job when I left. So it's definitely something, like I said, you have to have a heart for it and a passion for it. Just be a caring person, be, again, able to handle crisis, and I'm not a good crisis person. So that's why I have volunteers that I train and send to places. But yeah, I mean, it's are you gonna go get your master's in social work?
My ultimate goal is to become a grief counselor.
Oh, yes.
Because I lost my husband 3 years ago.
I'm very sorry. Yes, you've got to definitely have a caring heart, and sometimes it's easier if you've already been in that situation and you kind of know how people feel. I've had a lot of times people say, well, especially like on the drug and alcohol abuse side, well, if you've never abused drugs, you have no idea. Part of that is right, but I mean, if your doctor is going to surgeon's going to perform brain surgery on you, is he any less qualified if he's never had brain surgery himself? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There are people who don't have to go through this situation, be excellent counselors, but it really is a special point if somebody kind of knows that you've been through the same situation. What are you guys wanting to do? Undecided?
I'm a writing major.
A writing major? Awesome.
But I'm also interested in becoming a foster parent. Like, I went ahead and got my license and everything. So your program's kind of interesting. Like, you talked about a lot about like things for adults, but I'm sure you probably have things for children, like counseling or.
Yeah, we do have a licensed children's therapist on staff. Yes. So if mom wants counseling for the child and they're old enough to understand it, but our children's therapist also does groups with the kids. A lot of coloring, art therapy, that kind of stuff. And you talk about being a writer and everything. That's one of the biggest things for our clients is keeping a journal. And the journaling is so important for our clients. What about you?
I'm a biology major, pre-med.
Oh, awesome.
One of the things that I was thinking about doing was becoming an emergency room physician. So.
Oh, great. One of my best friends is an emergency room physician. She's in Springfield now, though, darn it. What about you, hon?
Dental hygiene and health sciences.
Oh, great. We need more dentists around here. We need more dentists who take Medicaid around here. I feel so sorry for our clients, because again, our drug and alcohol clients, especially who have, years their teeth have suffered from, and have one that's abscess and needs to just get it pulled out, and Access Healthcare offers that, but they take 2 people in one day, and then you have to wait in line just to, get it, but, so do that and then go on and become a dentist.
Forensic psychology.
Oh, cool, that would be neat. Yeah.
Health promotion.
Great, I need that. I need some health promoted towards me. I need to get back in. Things. Are you a sports player?
No.
No, just some,
I played in high school.
High school, awesome. You were such a well, great. I mean, and like I said, there's a lot of ways that everything you guys do could even, comes back to work like the people that we work with. So, anyway, if you guys ever have any more questions, if you want to come for a tour, anything like that, you can always call me and I'll be glad to show you around and see the day in the life. Okay, I know it's supposed to take longer.
Oh, no, that's perfect.
Okay.